Guys, got another Dragon Fall unboxing, this time the Mantic terrain crate. Got my lucky Dice Heroes challenge coin. Got my murder gloves. Hopefully we don't have the same camera issue I had before. I had a battery problem, wasn't looking at it. My cat is sleeping next to me and hopefully he doesn't act up, because then he's got a problem. So the terrain crates are pretty great. This is a Mantic offering. Last year at the physical con, which we won't have this year unfortunately, they were very generous with these. I think we got 4 or 5. They've got 21 pieces in them. They're not screwing around with these things, as it were. I chose this was donated by Grognard Games. They're fantastic. The torture chamber just seems like something I want to paint, but unfortunately I'm not going to get it. One of you guys, either a follower or someone who donates to the cause, will get this. It is real cool. I guess I shouldn't say that because I haven't seen the torture chamber. I'm doing it upside down because I'm an idiot. So I'm not a guy who does unboxings, right? I'm just a guy. So you're gonna have to deal with some, growing pains, as it were, as we do this channel. I think a lot of people are having to work on their internet chops in 2020, and I'm one of them. So the first thing I notice is you might need to take a hair dryer or something to one of these bad boys. It's very nice. It's very detailed, but it is a little. I don't want to say bent in places. Just you get a little bit of the warped, and I think I picked up the part that was the worst of the bunch, because everything else looks pretty sweet. So you got your mummies. You got 2 mummies, and they're reaching out. Mummy loves you. All right, so this camera over here hates this, so hopefully the other one's picking it up. And what's nice about this is I think this little guy, if you open up this gibbet, as it were, you can place him in there and have him reaching out. So it's a little, does he fit? He fits in the little sarcophagi. So it is, to some extent, interchangeable. So you've got that. So everyone wants to know, can you pet the dog in a video game? Can you put the casket on flush? You can. Yeah, it's a good fit. It's perfect. It's got a little wiggle room, but you don't want to be too tight, otherwise you'd never get it open again. There's no grain on the bottom, so you're leaning this against the wall or you're putting it on the ground. This is not a sideways coffin, but what are? But look at the detail, because you're going to put the mummy inside, perhaps. It does have the inside there. On the inside of this piece, it's flat, but coffins aren't made like that, where you can just interchangeably put them in, so you're going to have a little sacrifice there. There's not any details on the inside of the sarcophagi and stuff, or the back, but you got the pharaoh-oriented one, bunch of glyphs, what have you, on there. Real pretty. Very, very intriguing piece here. I think this would be nice. You're going to have just a little bit of theater of imagination. And this one doesn't want to fit entirely, because maybe it goes on this one. It doesn't. Oh, that's the torture one. That's another front one. That's interesting. Let me close my knife. All right. So there's one back, and there's 4 fronts. So you get 2 full coffins. That's established. Dos coffins. Don't know how to say coffin in Spanish. Probably a good thing. You get this torture rack, which is not warped, which is nice. And I'm not saying that all of these larger racks are going to be warped. In fact, this one's in a lot better shape. But like I said, you just take a hair dryer to those. But this one with the manacles looks like a lot of fun. I mean, it'll paint up real nice and real easy too. Like there's a couple like small little mold lines, but it's not like an X-Acto knife will take care of that, no problem. Like I would say almost this entire kit is just like, I mean, if you open up a kit like this and it's 80% ready to prime and paint, you've won already. I mean, how much work do you have to usually put into these? We've got a little cart here with a bunch of little like barber surgeon kits. I'm going to use this side thing for some of these. Like, yeah, so it's got little barber surgeon kits. Here's the manacle thing. I think you can get a good view of that. I mean, that adds a lot of flavor to this. Like it's got pliers out the gate, but there's some knives and other tools probably for, surgeries and teeth. Here's a rack. This is the rack we were talking about before that you'd have to put a little work into. For the third time, do you take a hairdryer to this thing? You probably have a hairdryer, or you can put it in some warm water, I believe. For those without long hair or the fairer sex in their domicile. But yeah, I mean, steal your girlfriend or wife's or long-haired boyfriend or sister's, hairdryer. Put it on there for a couple seconds. You can bend this guy right out. It's not... Don't ever look at that and be like, this is ruined, let me talk to customer service. It's not, I assure you. And, I mean, being a customer service guy in my life several times, don't bother them unless you have to. All right, so we actually have 2 of the surgery kits. I mean, it could be a surgical team. You could be using this across a very surgical dungeon. I think if I was going to make this set, this is probably not something that I would do as a duplicate. But, I mean, it could have been part of the mold. You never know. Like I said, this is a little warped. Not warped, but, bent on the bottom. But this one stands straight up. You'd probably want to straighten this out a little bit, but it almost did just with my finger just there. The little pulley. So it is a very nice piece. I understand why this right here is going to warp a little bit. It's tiny. It's a tiny piece. Like, having worked with sculptors before, I'd be like, hey guys, that's like not, we'd reject this back and like make it bigger, bolster it. Because those are the things that kind of, the thinner something is, the less it's going to work in those situations. That's when you're going to get bend. I'm getting a little long in this. I'm talking too damn much. Gibbets are cool. I've researched gibbets a lot. FBI, I'm a writer. That's one of the things I type into when I search weird, evil things. I also add that I'm writing, so please don't come after me, FBI. But yeah, gibbets, you'd put a living person into this and then basically let them starve. Or, they get their, you've put them in there, they've suffered enough, you let them out, stuff like that. But yeah, this one is openable. It's going to be a little tight, but yeah, you can open this up in order to put something in it. But it doesn't, necessarily come with it. Got your mummies. This one's got some mold lines on them, but it's nothing bad. This one's got tiny mold lines, but they're both good. Yeah. I kind of would have liked to have 2 different mummies, especially since at least this doesn't come with, a... Yeah, here's our little mommy. It doesn't come with 2 different sarcophagi you'd really put them in, so you'd be using them in 2 different places. I mean, I could have just gotten, not a dud, but like, something incorrect. We've also got 2 skeletons who are less formidable. But, come on. Yeah, I mean, they're great. They're good. Who doesn't need more skeletons to paint up? I mean, it's got a little sheet underneath him. Like, if you're like, man, for my dungeon, I don't have enough skeletons in there, like, you're doing it wrong. The nice little flare inside of the Iron Maiden, which I don't believe was a real torture device, but we're playing with fantasy stuff with mummies that are crawling out of stuff, so who cares? But yeah, it's yeah, look at this. It looks real good. Like, it's got a little face guard so you can see out as you're, bleeding to death for 18 seconds. Showing you the Pharaoh ones. Yeah, I am guessing. I'm going to do a little count in a second. There might have necessarily... Oh, I'm an idiot. Fell out in the box. Is there anything else in here? When I was stupidly opening this box, there are 2 packs. So yes, you can have a different variation. And it makes sense to have 2 mummies or 2 skeletons. I am just eating my words now. So we got another manacle one thing. So let's see. Is it 21 pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So yeah, we've got 21 quality pieces. Very little hobby work necessary. You could, this is stuff you have around the house. You have an X-Acto knife to get a little shavings off of the mummy. Like I said, it's really not even terrible. You'd see people paint that up, and just because they didn't really know what they were doing. But I think this is one of my favorite pieces. Like I said, we get 2 of them. I don't know if we need 2 of them, but this is really cool. Like pageantry to throw in your dungeon. And this whole box is really well priced. So I have purchased these. I haven't purchased this one myself because I wanted to see it with, virgin eyes, as it were. But I really, if I bought this, I'd be excited to start painting. And painting and dry brushing is really all you need. You got a mummy, you got a skeleton. If you want to go crazy on the sarcophagi for the Egyptian style, you could. But other than that, you need 4, 5 types of paints and some washes, and you're ready to go. But anyway, this was a Dragon Fall box opening for our giveaways. We will be giving away this terrain crate. I promise to put it back better than I took it out. But yeah, check out Grognard Games and the Mantic games for the terrain crate. Really cool stuff. Yeah, here's some. I guess they painted the mummy's face all green and cute and stuff like that. But and yeah, that looks really good with the blue and gold. But I wouldn't even go this far, and you'd still have some really great stuff on your table. Just fantastic stuff. All right, well, I'll see you soon. Please, donate and subscribe if you want to be a part of the giveaways. That's how we do our thing. And yeah, you have an excellent day and love each other.